Ah, there we are. Good morning, boys and girls, friends and lovers, children of all ages. Welcome to my kitchen. I don't know what you've all been up to this morning or afternoon, evening as it may be. Don Davo from Down Under, Bayou Bandit, CC, Brian Phillips, everybody that's popping in here this morning. I prepping breakfast. Been having a meditative morning. Been thinking about what a long month. Day 31 of the people's effort to change the world that we live in. What does it look like? Is it necessary? What are the optics? Are the people really prepared? There's so much stuff that's going on in my head. I'm still waiting for my jury nullification kit so that when the courts open, I can be live, right? I can be present. Unfortunately, it hasn't arrived in the mail yet, but that doesn't mean I'm not waiting for it. Have you ordered your jury nullification kit? Sorry, gotta get an onion. It's a serious question that I have for you, because if you know me, you know that what I want out of this world, and that my message is to reproduce what you see and what you hear in a way that it sheds light, that it brings people together and attracts community. I mean, that's generally my effort, right? It is Dilly Pickles, a bright kitchen. And I want to focus on a few things this morning, because I know you're all so busy and running around with all the stuff of the day. So we're going to share some screens here, one at a time, in a Chrome tab. This is the Colorado sun. And maybe you don't know what it looks like in Denver or in the state of Colorado. And you probably didn't see me last night because I was trying to keep my focus on a couple of other things that were going on in the protest actions in the community and the responsibility of shutting it down, of taking space. But most of you who will see this video can't name 5 people in your community who have died. In Colorado, we have 201 police-related deaths since 2014. And I've been in Colorado since 2012, right? So from 2014 to 2009, 309 people have been shot, 189 of them fatally, and all but 2 of those shootings were deemed justified by prosecutors or grand juries. Now remember, there's an old saying about a grand jury, and that is that a grand jury could indict a ham sandwich, because the standard is so low for a grand jury to have to open a case. So low. But who serves on a grand jury? Do you think that it's people of color who are working 3 jobs to feed their families? Or is it people who are retired, generally who have the time to serve? People who are financially independent, who don't mind it, and the educated who have the capacity to understand the value that their work does, so they actually go through the processes. Those are my opinions. Anyway, back to the news. The state is 5th in the nation, in Colorado, as fatal law enforcement shootings based on population. That's an interesting statistic. If you're watching this video, or if you've come for the first time to see me, since you found us over the weekend in Aurora and everything, you'll need to know that statistics are important, because when you're out protesting, educating the public on the facts is what gets it done. Okay? So if you cannot tell somebody sitting in their car the story of Elijah McClain, or your neighborhood's Elijah McClain, then there's a problem, right? Because I don't believe that all cops are guilty. I'm going to tell you that. I believe that bad apples spoil a bunch. And in Colorado, we have a history of spoiled bunches, bushels, barrels, whatever it is. So I'm going to leave you this link here. Let me see if I can do this. I got to get on here without playing my video. To here. So let's see. Are you reading this article? Let's move it down a little bit. I'm doing too many things at once. This is an interesting quote. Peace officers call each other family. Who investigates the family and finds each other guilty? Because let's face it, folks, most people don't want to be the one that's ousted because they did the right thing. Right? So it's really difficult for peace officers, sometimes, it depends on the culture and the community, right, to hold one another accountable. If you watch my Aurora video, one of the things that really struck me about the Aurora video was this African-American gentleman who grabbed me and said, let's do a check on these officers. Let's check in with them. And that was important to me. If you watch that, to see how many of the body cameras didn't actually catch the primary focus and attention point of a peace officer. Now, in the military, I'm told that there's a lot of buddy checks, right? You check in, make sure uniforms are right. There's all kinds of processes where details should be important. If your job for a particular day is to protect the grounds, the property from destruction, while people are playing violins in the park, then your body camera should be centered on you, right? You should have that mentality. Hey, man, I want you to be safe out there. I want you to make sure that we're protecting the people and that we're just rooting out the malicious intent or whatever, their mindset is. Then one of the things that they should have is the mindset that they want to prove that they're out there for the right reasons and that their cameras are showing their work, right? But Jefferson County Sheriff's Department still didn't wear body cameras all day. All day. On Saturday. And they were there at noon, right? So there's no excuse for this kind of behavior, this kind of mentality in our communities. And that's one of the things that I'm really concerned about today. So, who watches the watchers? It's a common dramatic concern for all of us. And if you can't find that the watchers are actually watching and holding each other accountable, then you have to do it a different way. That's my opinion. It's not a fact. But I think a statewide independent monitor program, probably the way to do it. And so this is important because that means that there's a new watcher. And the thing that I'm really concerned about this effort is that we all take attention to it. We want to know who's appointing, who's in charge, and so many times it's not unbiased. In Denver, the Office of the Independent Monitor answers to the mayor. So there's a lot of lack of strength, is what I'll call it, and in the Independent Monitor's office, because it's at the mayor's will. So I've shared that story with you. Let's share another one. Nice. Have some thoughts I want you to hear too. Frank Sturgill. Good morning. 7 times more likely. These are stats, facts, and statistics that you guys got to keep your eyes on. Frankly, I'm tired of children becoming statistics, right? So protesters, and this is, I got to stay on topic here because we got to go to work this morning. The point of this is that you've got to stay on top of your knowledge. You've got to stay educated. You got to know where things are at. You got to know what's going on, and you got to be proactively involved in changing the flipping system. For 8 years, Therese Howard has been fighting the issues in the streets of Denver. She's one of the members of Denver Homeless Out Loud, who got to meet with the mayor. Why? Because 100 people showed up or more through a dual relationship with the Party for Socialist, PSL, Socialism and Liberation, I think it is, and others who read the emails. And they showed up. And for 2 weeks now, we have no homeless sweeps in Denver, right? And by no homeless sweeps, I mean the peace department doesn't show up with body armor, with 30, 60 rounds of a human being to dissipate people who are struggling without physical structures, without falling into the system's waste management infrastructure, and without having showers and access to toilets and all that jazz, right? So if you're going to go out and protest, you got to know about the issues, right? And protesting isn't just shutting it down in the streets on a Friday or Saturday or Tuesday or Wednesday. It's about being at city council meetings, like the Denver City Council tonight, right? So starting around 4:30 today, people are going to start filling up City Hall. They're going to yell at their government because they're not happy. And you should do that too. So I want you to look at this while I step away for a second. This here is the Aurora Safety Report, safety thread. And you can get some things on there. So this is a Reddit page. And the thing about this, there's probably a Reddit page in your community as well. But there's a wide variety of tools that people are utilizing to communicate with each other. And they don't give a fuck who sees it, okay? It's public access. So this is Denver Protests. Is a good way to keep up with minute-to-minute stuff. Look at these things. Was on the front lines. We stood and chanted for hours peacefully. Not once did anyone attack the pigs in any way. They used the excuse, we saw people with rocks in their hands to deem that the protests were illegal. A rock in their hands. I don't know your thoughts on that, but my thoughts are that those people were definitely loaded with weaponry and LiDAR, right? They were testing an acoustical device to impair people while there were children on the grounds at a violin concert, right? There were 2 violin concerts occurring that day, and Saturday was just messed up. So I got to cover a quick few things in here. I opened up a YouTube, and I don't remember why anymore. St. Louis mayor resign. Oh, let's stop sharing that one. And let me tell you that it's been lit everywhere. So we're going to share a couple of things. Share screen. Chrome tab. We're getting there. So I need you to see this first. This is mainstream media. Hundreds demand justice for Elijah McClain and Aurora, CBS 4 Denver. Then you get to the local press. Thousands gather. Thousands call for justice. There's a violinist, right? Hundreds versus thousands. I don't know how you feel about it, but I'm quite confident that there's bias there. And what you access, what you get as your news source on a daily basis is going to impact that. So I want to stop sharing that one. And I'm still in Extreme Labs, so sorry if it makes you sick moving like this. Somebody actually told me over the weekend that they can't watch my videos because they get car sick. And I just was like, I'm trying. I got a tripod. We're working on it. St. Louis was lit this weekend. Somebody came out with an AR-15 on his own property to say, fuck you. That's pretty tense, right? They went to the gated community to go yell at the mayor. Why did they yell at the mayor? Let's see. Oh, yeah, the Associated Press is going to cover it most effectively. Marching to demand the mayor's resignation after she read the names and address of residents who were protesting the police. Right? And that's not even accurate because I understand it was leadership that she targeted. How does a mayor of a city have the cojones? Just be like, here's my residents who are protesting. Go find them at their houses. So they went to her house. That's some shit you need to keep your eyes on. Okay. Yeah, there's a lot going on. Folks, one of the things that is going on is City Council tonight. Last week in City Council, people came to speak their piece and then they almost left and missed the real important stuff. Defunding parole officers in grade schools. Yeah. Because when I was a kindergartner, the only cop I knew was my father and a couple of his friends, probably. Good people. Back then, I didn't know what I know today. But I do know that my father said that there was a lot of corruption in the police departments. That was one of the reasons he couldn't stay a cop. He quit. Right? Too much corruption. It was 30 years ago. Or more, actually. Almost 40. 35. I really want you guys to see that's what it was. This article right here. The Colorado Sun. This is a great article. And I keep coming back to it in my own page. On the tabs here. So great. This is going to screw up for a second. There we go. We got to get to the chat so I can share it because I don't know what you guys are doing. Man, is my camera really that bad? Citizen Z, Vet Tech, Kimmy, everybody who's in here. This is the article I want you to see. So what is possible to reimagine? Cops in relationship with the community. How do we get back to the Andy Griffith days? Right? Can we get back there? And there's a lot of arguments out there. Black on black crime, right? Color on color crime, narcotics distribution. There's a lot of things. But at what point, and I made this in my comments earlier today when I was trying to respond to some people on another channel or on another video. If utopia is over here and dystopia is over here, how do we go this way instead of this way? Right? That's the kind of conversations I'm trying to bring about and help us all enlighten with. Because I think it's what we need, right? I think that what we need is to figure out how we get to a place where we can just all get along, right? Where we can love one another, where we can be in peace and in community, and where bad shit happens. But good shit happens too. And get back to being happy, right? So if we're going to be happy, we've got to be actively involved in it is what I think. We create our own destinies. We create the world around us. How do we use our privilege to our experience, our life, our safety, and our security to demand that more people get that? Right, Becky O? To live in harmony. So I want to see that, right? And I want you guys to do that. I hope if you're here that you're aligning in this mentality, right? That we might not be able to get back to Andy Griffiths, but maybe we can get back to neighborhood solutions, right? Local accountability. Let's give you an example. Alcoholics Anonymous. It works if you work it, right? If you want change, you've got to be an owner of the change. Step one, I got a problem, right? Step one is we got a problem. The relationship between the civilians and the police department is more like the SS in some communities, right? I still know there's Andy Griffith communities and Andy Griffith police forces, and then not all cops are bad. But I know a guy named Poor Dirt Farmer that I've never physically met in person. And if anybody's got the link for the Poor Dirt Farmer truck fundraising, post that in my feed, please. Poor Dirt Farmer said, I'm going to do a video a day about a cop raping the people they're supposed to protect. A video a day. Did it for over a year and hasn't stopped, my understanding is. So, how do you stop the cops? Anne says. You have relationships with them. I got to tell you that that man walking down the road, that really hit me. Because what we've got here is somebody examining as a resident and saying, thank you, Becky O. Keep that up there. Look at yourself. Look at your mentality, right? My mentality is I got to get a video done and make breakfast for myself and my roommate before we go to work. So I'm quick, sloppy, put it together. I'm not, out in Salesforce mode or anything like that right now. So Andy Levitt says, until the so-called good cops turn in the bad cops, as far as I'm concerned, all cops are bad. And I think that that's a community mentality, right? So you're going to find lots of places where a bad cop gets turned in. But what that man walking down the row, uniform after uniform, shakiness after shakiness, right? I like a good sergeant who comes in on that line and touches base and moves people around and creates headspace for his people, right? To step back, to de-escalate their heads. And I know a certain lieutenant that I'm sure would do that. And, God, my head's all wacky. Anyway, another world is possible. We can break it down. Up until a year ago, you believed in good cops, Andy. Listen, I'm related to one. So, and I'm biased. I'm absolutely biased because I've listened to him speak. I've watched him in action, and I know his kids. That's great, Chris Marcus. Watch massive amounts of Andy Griffith. In a republic government, we elect people to make decisions for us. The police are the front line of the system of obedience and trickle up. Interesting thought, human love solidarity. I'm not that far off with you, I think. I think that that in this situation, there's a reason why you need to know what city council is working on tonight, right? Or tomorrow night. There's a reason why we have to hold and lift each other up and do a little bit of work in our neighborhoods, right? Because sometimes we have to go yell. And sometimes we need to have a beer or a joint, a shot of whiskey when the gun's been taken off and get into the head and remind people that peace work is about social justice. And it's not just about protecting the statute that says that we're fuckers and we got some really dirty history. Or it's not about teaching kids that all drugs are bad, right? But what kids should know is how to have healthy headspace, right? What kids should know is that if they're stressed out, they could talk to somebody, right? But kids should also, and people should be growing up knowing that your government is there to actually do some good, right? And so doing good means checking ourselves as well. So I don't care whether you're feeling Karen-ish. I love this word, Karen. I don't care if there's a bad. I was trigger happy the other day. I called and said, I'm trigger happy right now. I need to talk to the supervisor because some shit's going down. I'm about to yell at somebody, right? I gave him advance warning what was going on. My mouth just went off. But there are murderers out there, right? There are rapists and pedophiles out there. And there needs to be a system that manages that, okay? A full-blown improvement, plan of improvement would be nice going in. I agree with you. I agree that a plan of improvement is necessary, right? I give you plans all the time. I want trash cans on the street. I want recycling for everybody when they're just walking around. If I can't go take a piss while I'm out enjoying my city, how does that work for the least of these? If I gotta have $5 or $10 to go buy a beer so I can use the bathroom, because I just want to drink a water and I'm hot, I'm thirsty, right? When the city government buildings were built downtown Denver, they actually had public water fountains right there outside the city and county government building. Just walk up and get water all day, all night. Didn't matter. It was that important. So we got to change. A shift in the system requires mentalities, right? It requires changes. So what does that look like? Does it look like less jaywalking tickets and more recovery programs, right? Self-improvement efforts, lifting people who are broken up, housing for all people. If a mayor's job is to develop a city, and the mayor of Denver has developed a city where people can't afford to live in it, he's done a bad job as a mayor. Peace officers who cannot keep the peace need to be disqualified, right? But we also need to create a system where people are encouraged to say, I'm tired of this broken system. I want it better, right? And they might actually have a desire to be a peace officer. Because I'm going to tell you what, in the world we're building right now, in the way that this is going, people don't want to be peace officers unless they have a mentality many times of that bullying. I get to do these kinds of things, right? It's broken. Mental health evaluations, right? Psychological testing, law classes. If you're going to shoot 1,000 rounds a year, 5,000 rounds a year, then you better damn well be able to read hundreds of pages of law. So it's 9 o'clock, folks. That's the end of my show. I have to go. Time to go to work. But be the change you want to see in the world. And don't forget, we'll be out tonight. I think drug testing should be available for police, by the way. We should test that they can use it and, enjoy life a little bit once in a while, not be so uptight. Got you there. We'll talk to you later. Everybody go to Part Farmer. Try to get some that YouTube money up, huh? We need to get him a new truck. Talk to you later. Love you. Bye.